Hi, I'm Ryan Biggin. I got Danny to my right. I got Cammy to my left. We're approaching the midway season of the NFL season. We're going to jump right in with our power rankings with the top 5 from each conference. Let's get right into the NFC with the Vikings. Cameron?
Kirk Cousins tore his Achilles a few weeks ago, and they traded for Josh Dobbs right before the deadline. And in his debut, he had 3 total touchdowns on the season. He has 16 total touchdowns, 2,300 total yards, and he is a sleeper quarterback, and he has been playing really well.
Yeah, I mean, the Vikings, they're a good team. They've struggled a lot with injuries, especially, arguably best wide receiver in the league, Justin Jefferson. Going down on the IR earlier this year, set to come back this week, so big expectations for him, and obviously Kirk Cousins going down on the IR too, but Josh Dobbs has filled his role nicely.
Yeah, well, their run game is struggling. They only have 2 rushing touchdowns all year. They're just averaging 85 rush yards per game, which is 4th least in the league. Alexander Mattison, who is their starting running back, is yet to find the end zone through rushing, and they're going to need their run game to step it up, considering how they've had many injuries this season.
All right, moving to the number 4 slot, we have the 49ers. Danny?
The 49ers have a lot of room in the roster. They have a great running back, great QB, some great wide receivers. We'll talk about the QB, Brock Purdy, who has 2,329 yards, 15 touchdowns with only 5 interceptions. He's been able to throw a lot of those touchdowns to Brandon Ayuk, who has 3 touchdowns, 675 yards, and averages 17.7 yards per carry.
What about those running backs?
Christian McCaffrey is arguably the best running back in the league. 1,086 scrimmage yards, 13 total touchdowns, 38 receptions, nearly averaging 5 yards per carry. He's a very explosive running back, and he's a big reason why this offense is so good.
How about their defense, Cameron?
They just acquired Chase Young in a trade before the trade deadline, and him and Nick Bosa are a great duo. Nick Bosa was the Defensive Player of the Year last year. Chase Young was Defensive Rookie of the Year when he was a rookie. Chase Young is having his best year so far with 5.5 sacks coming off that torn ACL a couple of years ago. And they also have Fred Warner, who has 78 tackles, 2 sacks, 3 interceptions, and 2 forced fumbles. And he is a great linebacker.
Yeah, I like what the 49ers are doing. On to the number 3 slot, we got the Cowboys. Danny?
Cowboys, Dak Prescott's been looking great in the past couple of weeks. He's been leading his team to a lot of wins, and he's been up there for a debatable decision if he's the best QB in franchise history for the Cowboys. He's been doing great with 2,329 yards and 15 touchdowns. 2,415 yards and 17 touchdowns. And talking about the defense, they had a struggle at the start of the year with Trevon Diggs being hurt due to a torn ACL, but Micah Parsons, 18 solo sacks, 7.5 sacks, and he's been doing great with 1 forced fumble.
We've seen some problems against the Eagles with this Cowboys team, and we don't know how well they can hold up against these better teams. But, against these, slightly weaker teams, we've seen the Cowboys dominate and, stay in close games. So, I'm really excited for what this team has. The number 2 slot in the NFC, we have unexpected team, the Lions. Cameron?
Amon-Ra St. Brown is Jared Goff's favorite target. He has 65 receptions, 821 yards, 4 touchdowns. He's having his best season yet. He's a very good receiver, and he's a big reason why this offense has improved this year.
Yeah, and they have arguably the best running backfield in the league with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. These guys, man, I love Jahmyr Gibbs. He's got 476 yards and 4 touchdowns this year while backing up David Montgomery all season. And David Montgomery himself missing some time on injury, but he still has 500 yards and 7 touchdowns. This duo is scary. Now, to the number 1 spot in the NFC, we have the Eagles, led by Jalen Hurts. And this guy, what can't he do? His rushing is tush-push invention. I mean, super strong guy. You see him squatting 600 pounds. He's got 2,347 yards on the season and 15 touchdowns with 8 interceptions. This guy is electric. What about the receivers?
Well, a lot of his touchdowns are going to A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. They're a fantastic wide receiver duo. Devontae Smith has 42 receptions, 533 yards, and 4 touchdowns on the year. Alongside him is A.J. Brown, who has 67 receptions, already over 1,000 yards receiving, and 6 touchdowns. This duo is very, very good, and A.J. Brown is having an incredible year.
And their defense has been a lot of help to getting the offense back on the field, scoring a lot more touchdowns, especially their D-line. A lot of star players there.
All right, moving on to the AFC. In the 5 slot, we have the Texans sneaking in there, led by rookie C.J. Stroud. I mean, this guy's coming off a career game. He leads rookies all time for most passing yards in a game. He's thrown for 2,626 yards, 15 touchdowns with only 2 interceptions, which is a crazy touchdown to interception ratio. This guy, he's a real leader and puts a team first. Cameron, how about those rookies?
Yeah, you mentioned how C.J. Stroud has been playing incredibly. His favorite target, Tank Dell, who's also a rookie, has over 500 yards receiving, 34 receptions, and 5 touchdowns this season. And the 3rd overall pick of the 2023 draft is Will Anderson Jr., who has 2 sacks, and he keeps getting better. And these rookies will keep getting better throughout their careers, and the Texans have a really bright future.
All right, moving to the number 4 spot in the AFC, we have the Jaguars, led by Trevor Lawrence. Cameron?
Trevor Lawrence has 2,120 passing yards and 9 touchdowns, but he's thrown 6 interceptions. He's having a more mediocre season, but they've still only lost 3 games, and they've won 6 games. So if he can start playing better, this team will be really good.
Yeah, and he's got Travis Etienne in the backfield. I mean, the kid's got 618 rush yards and 7 rushing touchdowns with 2 more through the air. This guy's a real leader on this team, and after these London games, he's really started to, turn a new leaf for the season and, just become a better player. All right, at the number 3 slot, we have the Dolphins, led by Tua. Danny?
Tua, he's doing great. He has 2,609 with yards with 19 touchdowns. He's been doing great. He's been finding Tyreek in the zone, and with A-Chain coming back soon, they're going to be great because with A-Chain, he only had 3 games with 5 touchdowns, 460 yards, and averaged 38 carries. So you'll see him shining when they come back.
Yeah, and Tyreek Hill, I mean, this guy is leading the league in reception yards. He's got 69 receptions, 1,076 reception yards, and 8 touchdowns. This guy, he's getting a little old, but he still has a lot of spark in him. Arguably one of the best receivers in the game right now. And he deep ball threat, across the middle threat, catch and run. I mean, this guy can really do it all. On to the number 2 slot, we have the Ravens. Danny?
Lamar Jackson's able to throw the ball. He's able to run the ball. He can do it all. He has 2,177 yards with 10 touchdowns. He's been finding Mark Andrews a lot. And do you want to talk about Mark Andrews?
Yeah, Mark Andrews. He's got 43 receptions on the year, 521 yards, and 6 touchdowns. Clearly one of his favorite targets, and he always finds himself open. Cameron?
Do I have anything on the Ravens? I don't have it.
All right. On to the number 1 slot, we got the Chiefs, obviously, led by Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes, 2,442 yards, 17 touchdowns, and a 68% completion rate. He's been doing great. He's looking great. He's been finding the ball to all his players, especially Travis Kelce.
Yeah, Travis Kelce, I mean, best tight end in the league, hands down. Missed 2 games earlier this season. But he's still at 57 receptions and 600 yards and 4 touchdowns. Clear favorite target, best tight end, rivaling Gronk. Don't think he's better than him. But, a lot of talent from this guy, especially when Taylor Swift is in the building. All right, that's going to wrap up our top 5 from each conference at the midway point. Thank you for watching. I'm your host, Ryan Biggin, and have a great day.